Hello, and welcome to It's a Fandom Thing. I'm your host, Erin Marlowe, and each week I'm joined by a panel of guests to discuss all things fandom and pop culture, primarily from a female perspective. You'll find everything from fanfic, to cosplay, to Schitt's Creek, to Supernatural, and everything in between. So put on your favorite piece of fandom merch, set aside that fanfic that you're writing about your OTP, and sit back and enjoy this week's episode. Hello, and welcome to It's a Fandom Thing. I'm your host, Erin Marlowe, and we are continuing our celebration of Christian fucking Bale Month with my selection, the 2002 film, Laurel Canyon. This is your spoiler warning. I don't think this is really a film that it matters too much about spoilers, but I'm saying it anyway. So if you haven't watched this 23-year-old movie, geez Louisers, go watch it and then come back and watch us or listen to us. But joining me is, of course, she's here all month. She's always here for Christian fucking Bale Month. From OK Real Quick Pod, Carla. Hello, Carla.
Hello, Erin. Hello, people of the Fandom Thing world.
And then next is the other Erin, Erin A. Hello, Erin A.
Hi there. Gonna try and not let the dog behind me snore. Because making younger sounds. I'm going to try and mute myself. If I kick him out, he just bangs on the door and it's worse. So apologies for any dog sounds we may hear.
Maybe he just wants to get his thoughts in on the movie. You never know.
He has strong opinions about Christian Bale also. I made him wear his party hat earlier. I have his tiny little hat. And I was like, if you're going to be in here, you got to wear your hat, buddy. And he let me put it on him because he's the best dog. And then he just looked so sad. I'm going to post some pictures in the Discord whenever we get done. Because I was like, okay, fine, I'll take it off. He was like, fine, I'll wear it. And it was the saddest thing I've ever seen. He was not ready to party.
Aww. It's like, no, I'm not doing this.
But he does appreciate a Christian Bale party.
Apologies to him, but that is adorable.
That's hilarious. Well, awesome. Well, once again, spoilers. We're going to spoil this movie, but I'm going to give you the IMDb description and the cast and writer-director info, and then we'll get into it. So, Laurel Canyon from 2002. This is the IMDb description. When an uptight young man and his fiancée move into his libertine mother's house, the resulting clash of life attitudes shakes everyone up. That's dumb. I'm sorry.
The use of the word libertine, I'm like, oh
I know.
my
God. It was written and directed by Lisa Choldenko, who also, if you didn't know, did the movie The Kids Are All Right. And I don't know why I'm just mentioning that one, but that was got a lot of Oscar buzz for some of the performances. And it stars Frances McDormand as Jane, Christian Bale as Sam, Kate Beckinsale as Alex, Natasha McLeod as Sarah, Alessandro Nivola as Ian McKnight, and then there are other people, but that's the main cast in this movie. Okay, so first up, since this does take place in Laurel Canyon, and if you don't know, Laurel Canyon is big for the fact that there were so many musicians that really hung out in Laurel Canyon, and it's known as a music, place basically in Hollywood and in California. And in the 60s, especially in some of the 70s, it was this huge, huge place that great musicians that you know of, Joni Mitchell, which this character, Jane, the writer and director, she based that character a little bit off of her. That was a little bit of the inspiration. I'm not saying that Joni Mitchell's like Jane. It's just kind of that was the inspiration there. But all of those great, wonderful musicians from that time period hung out a lot in Laurel Canyon. So if you don't know that, that's kind of what the mythology is around this place. And Jane is a producer, a music producer. So that's why I wanted to know, on a scale of 1 to 5 records or albums, what do you give Laurel Canyon, Carla? Laurel Canyon, Carla. Sorry. I don't know why. It just seemed like that's the way it's going to be when I say everybody's names. Sorry.
I, Carla of the Laurel Canyon, give this movie 2 records. Yeah, it gets 2 of them, and that's as a present.
When I was watching this, I went, Carla is not going to like this movie. And I've seen this movie before, but I knew Carla was, I don't know, was this your first time watching it?
It was. And I had to actually restart it a couple times because I kept drifting off in my brain like, oh, wait, I'm still watching this and it's still happening to my face.
So
sorry, Lisa of other movie fame.
So Erin A, was this your first time watching it?
This was my first time watching it. I feel like I liked it more than Carla. I'll give it 3. It's okay. I would be really curious to like see how I felt about it when it came out though, because it does feel like it's so specific to like early 2000s type of movies. I don't know. I might have liked it more 22 years ago. I didn't dislike it, but it was just kind of like a meh kind of movie for me.
Well, when this movie first came out in 2002, I watched it when it first came out and loved this movie so much because it was about music. It's a small independent movie. It's not, like it's more character driven, relationship driven. And I actually have not seen this movie since then, really. And I knew we would eventually, of course, talk about it because it's Christian Bale. Watching it this time, there are a lot of things that are very, of the time, which is not an excuse, but there are. But I still enjoyed it, and I know there's a lot of, and we'll get to it, a lot of, yucky stuff that happens in this movie. I think the performances, especially Frances McDormand more than anybody else, are really fantastic. And I don't know, I still enjoyed watching it, not as much as I used to like it, but I give it 4 records. But I knew when I was watching this, I'm like, nobody else is going to like this but me on my panel. I just had a feeling because I was like, I don't think this is something that they're going to like, but yeah. And I had a feeling when I put it on the schedule, I was like, I had a feeling when we get to this movie, even though I'd forgotten a few things about this movie, like Christian Bale's character, what he's doing, I totally forgot about that. Like, not like for a career, not the other thing, but
oh, okay.
No, his career. I totally forgot what his career was until watching this, and I'm like, oh, that isn't aging well either. But anyway, but I knew I would like it better than the rest of my panelists. So, since it is Christian fucking Bale month, we are going to start with talking about Sam, Christian's character in this movie. So, Carla, I know you don't like this movie, but what were your thoughts on Sam and Bale's performance?
I'll tell you this. I liked all of the performances. I think that the performances are what gave this movie more than 0 stars. Oh, sorry, 0 records. The performances were really, really good. I think that Christian, my buddy, my pal. He made this guy bearable and even sympathetic because I think that objectively the guy's a bit of a douchebag. Sam is just very, I don't know, he's a bit sanctimonious. I think he's a bit caught up in himself. And I think it's largely the way that he was raised and him trying to differentiate himself from his mom and having different values from his mom and being his own person, but also being like just making his whole life revolve around not being like his mom. So that could have been a lot more obnoxious than it was because Christian Bale makes him a compelling character, somebody that you, whether or not you root for him, that you feel for him because his upbringing was probably very different and it didn't fit his needs. And I think that's one thing with parenting is that there is no one way to parent because every kid is different. Some kids might have thrived in that environment. He clearly didn't. He clearly needed more structure and more academic enrichment instead of artistic enrichment. So I don't think that Sam is a horrible person. I think that he's a complicated person in a movie about complicated people. But the thing that Christian Bale does so well with this particular role is in making Sam somebody who you can tell is trying to grow up and trying to be the best version of himself. he has a very rigid view on what good means. There are times where you just want to shake him and be like, you can't impose your morals on everybody else around you. But at the same time, like, I get it, because it would be very hard to grow up in something like that and not want, if that's not you at your core, and have somebody telling you, you just got to loosen up, man, for that to make you grow up feeling constantly invalidated and constantly having, like, you have to prove that your version of reality is a valid version of reality. And I think that with maybe a lesser actor, it would have just been very black or white. And Christian Bale really is good at bringing in those, like, gray areas where you're like, this action was not great. This action, though, is understandable. And just the little things that he does in the way that he has his exchanges with Jane, with Frances McDormand, were so good. I think that they play off each other really well, and you can really feel that tension and that kind of push and pull between, this is a mother and son, but this is also a mother who kind of raised her child as, like, a tiny adult equal when that child needed to be a child. In that sense, it was fantastic because the acting really brought across far more of, I think, those relationships than the story or direction did.
And Erin A.
Yeah, I agree with everything that Carla said. I think Christian Bale did a fantastic job taking this kind of, like, really kind of annoying, like, cliche guy and, I don't know, bringing just, like, realness to him. The way he does emotions and different things, I think, is fantastic. I think my favorite scene with him is, like, the climax where they're having the argument in the hotel lobby, and just, like, everything that he puts into that is just so, so good. And Sam, I think, is kind of, I understand, like Carla said, it's hard growing up in an environment that you feel like you're not meant to be in, that you don't want to be in. And he takes a lot of that out on his mom. I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve all of the criticism, because she seems like not a great mom. But yeah, he just kind of so badly doesn't want to be there that he's kind of, I feel like he's trying to sabotage it so that he can leave. And Sam, I don't like him, like, at all. I don't know. He's just so annoying to me. And he's just, like, is that guy who wants everything to be perfect so that he can be the opposite of his mom, who in his mind did everything wrong in his life. And the classic, like, I'm going to go so far opposite of what she is doing, be the perfect overachiever. I'm going to be a doctor. Like, that's just so much. Like, he moved to the other side of the country to get away from her, to be the opposite, to get away from that environment. And just throwing him back in there, the way all of this is happening so fast. I don't know what the timeline is of this. Is all of this happened just over, like, the course of a couple weeks? Just a lot,
so, yeah.
A lot going on in such a short amount of time. Like, everything just spirals out of control so fast. And the way that Christian handles that kind of stuff, of just, like, the increasing, like, problems and anxiety that he's having, and then Sam's character in general, like, he doesn't, I don't know. I don't think he wants to get married specifically to his fiance. Now her name has completely slipped my mind, Alex, but he wants to get married. He wants to have a perfect life, but, like, he should not get married to her for obvious reasons in the movie. So yeah, Sam is, like, not actually my favorite character. I get where he's coming from about how he just wants to get out of that whole lifestyle that his mom is in. But yeah, they probably should have gone straight to getting an apartment, and they could have avoided a lot of this chaos that he has created. Why would you? Why, dude? Why?
Like, he's totally down for, like, a free place to stay, but not for being with the people who actually inhabit it day to day. So,
and you're
that's
a doctor,
cool.
like, you can't afford, go to a hotel.
Right.
Dude, you could solve this problem, right?
To be fair, he's in a residency, so he's not getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah, but
to be fair.
Also, I feel like his mom seems pretty well off. She has this house. She has a house in Malibu. Like, if he would have just been like, hey, can you rent me a hotel or rent me an apartment somewhere so it's ready when I get there so that I don't have to impose on you. And I get that they like weren't expecting anyone to be in this house, but as soon as they showed up, like, as much as he dislikes his mom and being in this kind of chaotic environment that she creates, he should have just left. That's the I think part of the frustrating part of this movie for me is this whole situation could have been avoided if you had acted like a grown up.
Yeah, I think if a lot of people have acted like grown-ups
right
in this movie, honestly, and I actually think that's part of why this movie works in a way, because this is talking a lot. To me, this is perfectly illustrating generational divides and how some people, like, Frances McDormand's character is just on the edge of like the boomer generation. She's part of the boomer generation, kind of in the counterculture, and I think like that generation, a lot of those people were rebelling against the generation before them that was very like prim and proper on the outside. And they were trying to rebel against that and be very open sexually. And like her character is very, very driven sexually. And I don't mean that as an insult. It's just that's the way her character is. And she's, smoking pot in the very beginning. And she is like offering to smoke pot with her son. And you get the feeling that might have been something when he was a teenager that she would do as well. And so I think like that generation rebelled against that generation. And then you have that, Gen X, which I honestly don't think the majority of Gen X was like at that time or when they were younger were like Sam's character necessarily. But I just think sometimes that's what happens is then that generation is trying to rebel against that. And so I think he's in a way rebelling against what his mom was like and rebelling against that generation, the counterculture, because he grew up in that and didn't appreciate that and felt neglected and felt ignored. And I think a lot of it was he probably felt like he didn't get a chance to really be a kid who had a mom who was really a mom and took care of him. He probably got to experience a lot of things that other kids didn't get to, but he wanted to probably experience like the typical, quote unquote, typical normal childhood. And he didn't get that. And so he's angry and he's kind of like a little boy. He's still like a little boy and he needs to grow up. And all that said, this is my least favorite character in the movie. And I love Christian Bale, and I think he's really good in it, but this is my least favorite performance in the movie. I'll be honest. I think he's great. I do think he does a good job. I think it's because I just don't like the character. And I forgot how much I didn't like this character until watching it again. And he kind of reminds me of, and it's probably because, I watch Family Ties now all the time right before I go to bed because there's the Family Ties channel, literally. And this reminds me of a less charismatic Alex Keaton, this character.
Yes.
This is exactly that.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I was watching this. It's like if this were a comedy, this would be Family Ties.
Yeah, because he's rebelling against, just like Alex Keaton was rebelling against his hippie parents, Sam is rebelling against his hippie counterculture, music mom. And that's what he's rebelling. He's trying to not be that because he wanted a quote unquote normal family. And I think I knew a lot of kids that grew up with parents that were like this and not so much just the yippies, like the hippies that became yuppies. They grew up with a lot of parents like this and parents even that had money, but were more like this, which I guess is the yippies. So it's very familiar to me. And, while I don't like his character, I do empathize a little bit with him that he never really got that he needed. And you don't know who his dad was, so you don't know where that came in. And he had all these different relationships that she had throughout his life of all these different people coming and going. And that's got to be very disruptive for him as a kid as well. So I understand that part of it, but I do think he's a total asshole and he's not very nice to his fiance. And he doesn't take into consideration her feelings in this whole thing of going out there. He doesn't really prepare her, I don't think, for what they might be getting into. And we'll talk about her later on. But yeah, my favorite part in this movie is the scene at the end when he's in the pool and then his mom comes out, Jane comes out, and Sam's in the pool. And she talks to him about, yes, I wasn't a good mother. I know I wasn't the best mother. My biggest, thing that makes me the saddest is knowing that you are disappointed in me, and that whole conversation, and her basically pleading with him, wanting to have some kind of connection to her son. And when he just like touches her toe and kind of squeezes her toe, like touches her toe, and they have this moment, this quiet moment where it's the first time you ever see them connect on any like maternal, mother-son level. And I thought it was such a great, really quiet moment. And I thought that was the best scene in the whole movie, period. But I think his performance in that scene was his best performance in the movie because it was just a very quiet, understated little moment. So, yeah. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Jane, the mother. So we'll be the mother.
The mother.
So for those listening, we'll be right back. For those watching the video, we're not going anywhere. Okay, so Carla, let's talk about Jane, the mother, played by Frances McDormand. So what are your
let's do
your thoughts on her?
I have a lot of thoughts about Jane. First of all, okay, no, I think that because I've read a few reviews, I watched a couple of, and there are like literally like a couple of video reviews about Laurel Canyon because apparently nobody really talked about this movie very much back in 2002, and we're just bringing up ghosts of film past, which is good because that means that now there are 3 videos out there about Laurel Canyon. So, but what I've seen said is that Sam is the moral center of the story. And like on a very, very superficial level, I understand that idea because if you're looking at it as strictly on a, United States puritanical societal expectations level, yeah, absolutely, he's the moral center because he's the only one who, yeah, he has kissies with his coworker, but he actively puts a stop to things. But that doesn't make him the moral center just because he does the bare minimum. Like that's on top of it. It's a fairly even playing field when it comes to that because nobody is very good about, physical boundaries with people you shouldn't be kissying. But I would say that actually the moral center of the story is Jane. And the reason for that is that Jane doesn't really hide who she is. Like, this is who I am, take it or leave it. And, it may be very in your face, but I think that that's one of those things where, like, if women are very in your face about who they are, then it's seen as a bad thing because it's like confrontational and aggressive and, all of these things that we describe as positives for men. But for women, it's like, oh no, scandalous. She's comfortable in and with every decision that she makes. Well, most decisions that she makes because she, again, going back to the idea of morality, her morality is defined differently than Sam's. And I think it's very interesting that Sam has developed this. And again, it's a very nature versus nurture thing where Sam is just innately a more kind of, like, I guess, traditional in the US sense of what's right and what's wrong. And Jane is a bit more open-minded, I guess you could say. And neither one is inherently wrong. It's just that they will absolutely brush up against each other in bad ways. And Jane was not a good parent to Sam, is my belief. But I think she was probably pretty young when she had Sam. And having had Sam as a very young parent, who knows where Sam's father or whatever other adult was there. We don't know what role that person had. We don't know whether there were grandparents in the mix. The point is, I think Jane probably did the best she could with the knowledge that she had. And I think, we're now in 2025 and people are just realizing that children are not their parents and that you can't make them be who you are. You kind of have to take into account the ways in which they're different from you in order not just to raise them, but to have any kind of relationship with them. But at the end of the day, she's still just a human. And she's just a human. She wants to be loved and accepted wholly for everything that she is. And Ian nails it when he says that Jane cares for him more than she's willing to admit. And I think that's why she does the pool kissies thing. I don't think that it's like a coercion thing or like she was manipulated into it. I think because she's kind of go with the flow, she was like, all right, well, we'll kiss a little bit, whatever, no big deal. Because to her, it's just not a big deal. We're just having little smooches in the pool and then we'll all go our separate ways. And is that the right thing to do? No, absolutely not. Just because Ian is into it and you want to be cool girl and you want to do the things that your partner wants to do because you want to do things that you know, go crafting together, like go antiquing, like listen to some records. You have plenty of them. Have other hobbies that you can share as a couple other than your son's girlfriend. But everybody in that movie, though, can see that Sam and Alex have no business being in a relationship. From the beginning, from the very first scene, they are not compatible. He wants to do certain sexy time stuff. She's like, I'm not really feeling it. Oh, look, I'm already finished. We can just go to sleep now. They're just, I think, kind of in it because they've been together for a while. And it's like, the next logical step is that we will do this. And then after that, we will do this because this is a path that society has laid out for us. And therefore, we must follow it. End of story, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure that she seems to have some kind of rebellion with her parents, too. Sam definitely does in his own way, but she is definitely rebelling against her parents. And part of that is doing this thing that they don't want her to do because they want her to go and stay where she is and follow the path that they think is best for her. She wants to go and study the reproductive lives of these bugs and, supposedly wants to go and be with Sam wherever Sam decides to go for his career, which, by the way, is also messed up because long-distance relationships exist if they're strong enough to exist and if you can do that kind of thing. And also, why should she have to give up what she wants to do professionally just so this guy can go and do his residency where he wants to do it across the country? That did not need to happen. And that is, from the beginning, setting up very terrible relationship dynamics for them. Anyway, back to Jane. I went on a bit of a tangent, but there's a reason for that. It's just they are not compatible. Everybody can see that. And because Jane has way more life experience, she's like, this is not going to go anywhere. It's fine. Like, we're making out in the pool. It'll be fine. She'll be gone soon enough from his life. No big. But when Ian decides that, no, we're going to go further, that's when Jane has to confront her feelings because, yes, she cares for Ian and wants to do something that he wants. But also in that moment, she sees that Ian's words are just words. I think at that point, she kind of like wakes up and sees that he's a very smooth talker. Doesn't mean that he is actually saying all the things that are true to his relationship. Like, I don't think that he's like desperately in love with her. I think that he thinks that she's really, really cool. And he may have strong feelings for her, but I think they're more infatuation. And I'm going to tie down this wild tornado of a woman and also have this other woman. I'm going to have it all. And no. So it's one thing to have sneaky pool kisses, but anything else is too far. And Jane sees that. So Sam thinks that he's a moral person. And no, I don't think that he would follow through and mess around with Sarah in the end. But okay, let me restate that. I don't think he'd mess around with Sarah because he would break up with Alex before pursuing Sarah because he thinks that's the right thing to do. It's not as simple as it being the right thing because for Sam, the right thing is whatever he thinks is opposite of what Jane would do. And he thinks that Jane would do whatever her pleasure was. And, bigger picture, I'm not saying that Jane is a moral person or that she is even a good person necessarily. I just don't think that Sam is better than Jane. If anything, maybe they're closer to being moral equals because they're both stopping themselves from what they want to do for different reasons, but they're kind of on the same, cliff of existence or whatever. So yes, Jane, not good mom, okay person, not the worst human being in existence, complicated person, fantastic acting. Frances McDormand really shines in this movie. And again, the acting in this movie is so good. It is so good. It kept me from falling asleep, which is great because the story was, okay, I guess we're doing this now.
Yeah, the whole moral thing. I'll get to it when I get to my turn because, I got thoughts on that. So Erin A,
Oh, that was a lot to unpack there. And now I've got so many thoughts. But first of all, Jane, I think, is my favorite character, not because she's like a good person, totally, but because she's just the most interesting. She is not a good mother. I think she did her best. I agree with Carla. It seems like she probably had Sam when she was really young and was already in this music scene, and she probably loved her job, but she loved her baby, and she did know what to do, and she did the best she could with the life that she had. And I think she's, first of all, this came out in the early 2000s, and I think if I had seen it then, I would have thought she was just like so fucking cool, because that is like such a cool job. Like now it's kind of, I don't know. The whole movie, for some reason, with like the music and the vibes, it gave me, and this is going to sound so dumb, but it gave me Veronica Mars vibes, like the whole thing of like the cheesy music and like all the drama and everyone's kissing each other. I don't know why. It just seems so much drama, and it's in California, I guess, but
I can see
yeah,
it.
I don't know. But back to Jane, I think she's doing the best she can. I think she's got a lot of issues. At one point, Sam says to her, yells at her, get some therapy. I think that's probably a solid suggestion. I think they should probably talk some things through together. I doubt Sam would ever be receptive to hearing anything from Jane's side of their life together, because I think he's just villainized her so much that he just doesn't, like, he's done with her. I don't think there's anything, even in that last scene, they kind of, yep, this is it. This is our life. We're going to get along. I feel like probably in like 3 days after that, they were in another massive fight about something because he was refusing to leave. Gosh, I like Jane, but I don't like Jane. She's so complicated, and I love that about her. She's, making not great decisions with her son's girlfriend, which is just, come on. Like, I feel like she should have known better. I don't even love the kissing in the pool thing. I feel like she should have shut that down real fast, but I get it. She likes Ian. Like, Ian was being all cute and flirty, and like, this is harmless, but that part just kind of like made me not like her the most about it. And I appreciate that she recognizes that that's a bad decision. I wish she'd realized that was a bad decision earlier, so she didn't make the bad decision again. But again, she's, I think, trying to do the best with her life, and she's probably been in these habits for a long time. And I think, Ian is very charming and persuasive, and like he seems like he's like the rock star, so he can just do what he wants, and she probably goes along with that a lot of the time with anybody, that she's just there to have a good time, and why not? But I don't know. I think she's the most interesting character, and I like her. I think she'd be super fun to hang out with at the pool, but probably shouldn't get in the pool with her unless you want to make out with her.
Yeah, I think this performance, Frances McDormand, is so fantastic in this. And I also want to say, and I don't mean this as like any kind of ogling or anything like that, I think this is actually the sexiest she's ever been in a movie too. She's so damn sexy in this.
I can't disagree.
She's so
she
fucking
really is
sexy in this movie. And it's the way she holds herself, because she's very confident with her body. This character is very confident with that. But I do think, it's interesting because this is a very, very, very strong person who is very independent. But at the same time, I think she's very vulnerable. I think she's incredibly vulnerable, but doesn't want people to see that. And the whole pool scene, because I remember when I first saw this movie, I'm like, no way is she going to kiss her son's fiance. There's no fucking way she's going to do that. And then they did that. And, while I think she kind of was going along with that because of Ian, of course, and things, I think it's also because this is just kind of par for the course for her. Like, she's always been just very open sexually. But I do think even in the pool, I think she knew this was wrong and she was not wanting to do it, because there are little subtle things that Frances McDormand does with this performance where you see little things in her eyes where she's like, oh, this is about to happen. How did I get myself into this? When Ian is like telling Alex, get in the pool with us. Get in the pool with us. Why don't you get in the pool with us? And starts splashing her with the water. And while Jane kind of goes along with that, you do see these brief looks on her face of like, I should really stop this. I should really stop this. This is not okay. This is my son's fiance. If it was anybody else, maybe it'd be different, but this is my son's fiance. And then you really see that look later in the hotel room. That's when you really see it when her back is to Ian and to Alex at first, and you see that look on her face. And then that's, I think, when it really hits her like, we need to stop this. And I do appreciate that she does take full responsibility for that. And there isn't a moment where she's like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. I do appreciate that.
Unlike Ian.
Yeah, unlike Ian is like just the typical, like, he's just very much a guy and a male rock star. Not excusing what he did at all. I'm just saying he's just like, you know, the men in this movie are kind of trash. So I do want to say, I really don't like when people say, I understand where people are coming from, but when people say, get therapy, I really think it's not a good way to approach it. As someone who has been in therapy for most of my life on and off, yelling that is not a good therapeutical way, which I understand they're in an argument, but you don't yell at someone to get thrapy. I don't know. It just bothers me.
It's almost like an insult.
It is an insult. That's exactly what it is. And that's why it bothers me. Anyway, so I'm just throwing that out there because that really irritates me. Although I do think it's interesting when you were saying that, Erin A., when you're talking about that, it's an interesting thing to look at that a character like Sam would get into the field of mental health care instead of like into like internal medicine. Instead, he's getting into like into psychiatry and stuff like that. That always struck me as interesting because it's like you wouldn't on the surface expect this character to want to be involved in that one, but I think a lot of that comes from maybe wanting to understand his mom more and understand maybe that the people that he was around in that time period. So I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, I think she's the most interesting character to watch, and I think the performance is so incredible that it even elevates the character beyond what's on the page, and she adds so much depth to her. And I do think this is someone that rebelled so much and kept rebelling that they kind of weren't sure how to have that balance with having a kid as well. And I do agree, Carla, I do think she was definitely really young when she had him. So I think that added a little bit to that because no, she's not a great mom, but we also don't know a lot of some of that stuff. We only know what we hear from Sam and a little bit from her. So we're not all completely positive of what happened. I do want to say with that moral thing, with the moral compass and everything like that, that is such a misogynistic viewpoint, point blank, because the reason they're saying that is because Jane is so flippant open about her sexuality. And, you know, we don't know what her sexuality is, but she's had a relationship with a woman before that she mentions. So we don't know if she's bi or if she's pan. We're not sure. But she's very open about her sexuality. I mean, the fact that, you know, when they're in the studio recording and she flashes them, and it's not done in this way of like seduction or anything like that. It's just like, hey, I don't care. I'm like so confident. And which I really love that. I really appreciate that. And I think that the way our society is, seeing a woman do stuff that where normally people would be okay with it if it was a man doing it or they'd excuse it. Seeing a woman do that is not okay in this society. Seeing a woman be so confident and okay with her sexuality that she doesn't give a fuck what people think about her sexuality is something you don't normally see. So, and being so in touch with your body and being so free with your body and being so confident in who you are is not okay in this society for a woman. So that is such a misogynistic fucking take to say that Sam is the moral compass. Sam is the conservative compass. He's not the moral compass. Yeah. He's the conservative compass. It's very different. I'm not saying everything Jane does is good because kissing your son's fiance is not okay. Like in no realm is that okay. But it doesn't make her like the less moral person. I mean, Sam is out there like sitting there having this very sexual conversation with another woman in a car. I know he stops it and he only kisses her, but he's still having an emotional relationship with her. They're talking very, very explicitly about what they would do to each other in bed. So that is just as bad as what his fiance does, frankly. So it's like,
Yep.
he doesn't have like the moral high ground here at all. He just has the conservative realm. So yeah, the moral compass crap, that really pisses me off. It's because it's such bullshit. It's such misogyny. It's just such a misogynistic take on this. It doesn't surprise me, of course, because duh, it would still be that way today. If this movie was made today, you would still have people saying that Sam is the moral compass and Jane is not.
Absolutely. And even that moment that you mentioned with her flashing in the studio, because to her it's like almost like flipping the bird. It's just not a big deal.
Exactly.
It's a very casual gesture from her. And then what happens immediately after, Ian comes out and claims her boobs as his.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, and I think the other part too, I want to say, is the fact that Jane is not like a 20-something and she is an older woman who is still sexual and still claiming her sexuality and is still a very sexual person. And you don't see that much in movies. And so I think that's also probably what bothered people too about that is, oh no. And Frances McDormand said she had never done nudity before this movie. And so she had actually really kind of wanted to do nudity. And I don't know this for a fact, but I'm assuming it might have been a more comfortable situation, seeing as how it's a woman directing this movie and writing this movie. So it might have been a little bit more comfortable. I don't know that for a fact. But she said she was nude a lot. I mean, it's not like explicit nudity in this movie at all. But, in the pool, she's, kind of nude. And she said it was very, very freeing for her. And I think that's interesting because that's probably something that people would say that's not morally okay.
Right. God knows now everything is like, oh no, we're seeing too much, hand holding and too many longing gazes. And oh no.
I know. We're going back to the puritanical stuff and it's so flippin' terrifying. Yeah. It's so scary to me. Yeah, that's another reason like that would have been, oh my gosh, I can't imagine that. So younger generations watching this movie would be like, what the fuck?
That lady had her boobs out and she wasn't using them to like breastfeed or something.
Okay, well, I do want to get your thoughts on the other characters. And by that, I just mean Alex, Sarah, and Ian. So, of course, Ian is the musician who is recording an album and who is dating Jane. Sarah is Sam's colleague. They work together. I mean, they are colleagues, and they're also basically like tiptoeing around having an affair. And then Alex is Sam's fiance. So, Carla, your thoughts on these other three?
Okay, first of all, Kate Beckinsale was an actual like fetus in this movie. She looked like the tiny little baby. Oh my gosh. Just because, I'm used to seeing her in, what movie was it? Was she in Van Helsing?
She's in the Underworld movies.
Yes, thank you. Some dark and creepy movie from the same time period and whatever. Not a big fan of hers, to be perfectly honest. I always thought she was an okay actor. I don't really seek out movies that she's in, so I don't know. She might be a lot better than I'm saying she is. To me personally, she's just okay. I thought she was great in this movie because Alex is somebody who, because, looking at her little sweet angelic face, she just looks like a very like prim and proper, kind of the same supposed moral fiber as Sam. They seem to be in sync with each other. It's more of a facade than anything else. It's just more them, doing a paint by numbers thing of like, okay, now we're supposed to put red in here, so we're putting red in here. And so that's more or less what she's doing. And like she says towards the end of the movie, like she's never had a chance to mess up. So now she's messing up on a colossal scale by doing something that is what she wants, but she is not being honest to herself or to her partner because she's off sending emails to the person waiting for her dissertation and being like, I don't know when I'm going to finish this, bro. I'll let you know, I guess. And telling Sam, it's going great. Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm almost done. So she's, being dishonest about something that if you really trusted your partner, you would be open with him and saying, I'm struggling. Like, I'm having a really hard time. And I think that, yeah, if they had gotten there and nobody was there and she hadn't had those distractions, she probably could have finished, because she seems actually interested in this topic that she's dissertationing about. So I don't think that Sam is wrong in saying that maybe if they moved somewhere else where there was more quiet, then it would be better for her. Because I think that he is trying to do right by her, but like by this version of her that, first of all, he believes is the full truth, and that she is saying is the full truth. So we have two things going on there, which is Sam not really seeing the full picture of who Alex is, but Alex also not giving him the full picture either. You know, she goes to supposedly check out a place, and oh no, it's off the market, even though the guy was like, please rent my house. Please, ma'am, I don't want to talk to more strangers. Can you please just rent my house? And I think, honestly, because he said, my wife and I lived here for 40 years and now they're going to live, I don't know, maybe 40 more somewhere else together. She's like, oh no, maybe it's a curse and then I'll have to live with Sam for 40 years. She clearly doesn't want that. She's going there in her little gray Converse with her little gray beige outfit. And she doesn't feel like a little gray beige person. She feels like there is so much more color out there, so much, more excitement to be found. And I'm only just now discovering, like, holy God, where did they go to college? Like, what kind of, convent did they go to that she didn't get exposed to more exciting things than just Sam in his lab coat? But she eventually starts to gravitate more towards Jane and Ian's lifestyle, which is more, more naked and druggy. I don't know, whatever. But, like, she's fighting herself. Like, they're both Sam and Alex are both clearly very young. They're both just starting out in their full adulthood, because I really believe that you don't start your full adulthood until you get out of the academic system. Until then, you're, following a set of rules, even when you're in college. Even if you're in a dorm and not under your parents' thumb, you're still under some kind of imposed structure. So now they're like trying to actually adult on their own. And she's realizing, oh my God, I'm missing out on so many things. But so she has that. And I think that Kate Beckinsale does a really good job in showing the duplicitousness of Alex, of her both being somebody who is actively hiding parts of herself, but also it's because she's just discovering these things about herself. So there's just a lot going on with Alex. And I think it's done really well. The Ian guy, I don't really care about him. He's just a jerk. Whatever. He honestly, he's just a douchebag being played as a douchebag. There's not a lot of depth to him. There's nothing interesting about him. It's not like you can say, oh, I like the choices that the actor made and blah, 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 blah. I couldn't care less. I could not care less. It's a very, very simple character played simply. That's not a knock on the actor. I think it's partly, again, the writing and the directing is not conducive to this character standing out in any way whatsoever. Maybe it's by design. I don't know. It's just done so poorly that I couldn't care less, to be perfectly honest. Same with Sarah. Sarah is set up to be kind of like a bad girl in a lab coat kind of thing, where she's like, she's here to take your man. And she knows that that's what she's doing. Whatever. She's just there to be enticing for Sam, to kind of like pull him out of his path towards, martyrdom and sainthood. He's not going to get canonized at this rate. That's all that there is really to Sarah. Like, she's not necessarily like even a three-dimensional person. She's there to serve a purpose in pulling this character's attention from his fiancé, girlfriend, whatever the hell they are. She has a neat accent, so there's that. She drives an interesting car, if you're into that. And she has not necessarily power, but she has a stature above his, which I think, and this is me psychoanalyzing a fictional character, which is enticing for him, because this is somebody paying attention to him who has status above his. He didn't get attention from his mother. So I think that this is something interesting to him, because Alex is his equal, but Alex is really putting herself in a situation where she is behaving like his inferior by giving up so much. And I think that to him, it's very interesting seeing somebody who's very much just doing whatever the hell she wants and pursuing anything that she wants when she wants to pursue that. And going back a little bit to Sam, I think that the reason Sam specifically went into this profession is that he wanted to be listened to. So he went into a profession in which he could be the listener for the people who needed it. And I think that's highlighted very well in the scene with that young patient having a psychotic episode, where he really listens to the guy, and he shows that this kid that will respond well to discipline and to a very strong character, which is not something that he had growing up. You know, he stands there and the kid is like screaming at him and, you know, accusing him of things, and he's not backing down. Yeah, he's a bit scared, and you can see that because he's looking at Sarah like, ugh. But he's doing fine. Like he does right by this kid, and he goes outside of protocol and talks to the parent and says to the parent, you need to listen to your child. Your child is going through something and you're not listening. You're doing things your way that is clearly not serving your child. And that is straight up just him. It is projecting, but I think that for the purposes of this movie, I think that the reason that it works well is that it shows that he has learned you can't do that to kids. That's not the way that you raise a kid. But, you know, speaking of other characters, that kid I think was great. Whoever played that young person did a great job. It was a really good scene. But yeah, whatever, Sarah, Ian, whatever, they were there. Ian wasn't even that hot, to be perfectly honest. I don't know what we're going on about. Like, oh my God, Rockstar, he's so sexy. He's not. He's fine. Like, whatever. Not fine, like, he's fine. He's fine, like, meh. He took up space in the screen. I guess I needed that.
Oh. And that was Rick Gonzalez who played that the kid. Just to let you know.
Okay, Rick Gonzalez, I hope you're out there still doing the thing because you did a really good job in that.
So, Erin A.
Okay, other characters. So, Alex, I feel for Alex because it seems like her and Sam are having their rebellion moments at different points in their life, where Sam rebelled by going 3,000 miles away and going to college and becoming a doctor, and that's how he was rebelling. And now she's rebelling. She's realizing, oh, look, these cool musicians and that I can hang out with, and I can, you know, avoid finishing my dissertation. It very easily, it seems like it could have very easily been finished, and she was just putting it up and she didn't want to, and she was stuck in this point in her life and saw these people to hang out with and, you know, try her baddie phase at this point in her life. And I absolutely agree that her and Sam should not be together, that they were both just, you know, doing what seemed like it was going to make everybody happy, what seems like what should be next. And I think, I don't know, Alex is okay. She's okay. Like, just like every other character besides Jane, they're all just kind of like, they're okay. They're doing their thing, whatever. The same thing with Ian. He's just, that music is bad. That music is bad, first of all, that he is making, that they think they're going to have a single hit for, oh man.
But it's the best record Jane's ever made.
Right? Oh my God. I'm just like, I was watching some, like, this actually would have been so much better if they could have had some sort of like real music, not something that was clearly like the cheesiness created for a movie. But he's just such a typical like rock star. I'm going to do what I want. I want to party and I want to make my music. And he's like trying to do this fake romantic ballad thing at Jane. And it's just kind of icky and I don't like him. And he just is such a cliche. And I get that he's there to move the story along, but I don't like him at all. Like, I wouldn't want to hang out with them. I bet he's so annoying just day to day. Like, even his interactions about how like rude and sarcastic he is to Alex at the beginning. He's just like, seems so annoying. I don't know how. I get Jane is in her like, I need a younger rock star phase or whatever, and good for her for doing what you want and whatever, but man, seems awful. As far as Sarah goes, she's good for her. She seems confident, and I mean, straight away, I think the way she kind of seems just immediately not amused with Alex, and I feel like Sam picks up on that, and maybe that's a little bit why he's drawn to her, because he's also seems very annoyed with how much Alex wants to stay in this house and he wants to leave, and she kind of wants to stay and be like, hey, what's this scene about? And so Sarah seems to just like immediately go after Sam, and like no shame about it, and good for her, I guess, if that's what you want to do. Again, like, I'm kind of indifferent to all of these other characters. It's just, I don't know, it just all seems so like, why is she trying so hard to go after Sam, I guess? And I will say, like, the last scene where she calls and he hangs up, he's like, can I call you back? And then, like, I need resolution. I hate open-ended, like, I can guess what happens. We all know what's going to happen, right? But just, that last scene made me kind of frustrated. So I think all the other characters were just kind of, they're okay. The acting was decent, but I really think this is a story about Jane, and I appreciate that.
Hi, Christian.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I am so sorry to interrupt between Erin and Erin, but I must speak now because you have brought up something very important to me. For you see, we did, in fact, record a resolution to the movie, and there is closure, in fact. I would like to give you that closure. Here's what happens. Now, I want you to sit and ponder with me about the implications in this movie. And, I think most people think, well, of course, this movie being what it is, Sam will naturally just go and have some fun time, some fun, sexy time, I'm so tired now from being so fun and sexy with Sarah. However, what actually happens is that Sam leaves the practice, he leaves the hospital, he leaves his studies behind and enters the priesthood.
What?
He gives up on all women and all sex and all this temptation, and he decides, what would Jesus do? And he thinks, I think that Jesus would probably be okay with everybody and be friends. However, what I will do is that I will take the easy way out and say no sex with anybody. No sex with anybody ever. That way I am never tempted. I cannot be tempted if I've taken a vow to never have sex with anybody. So he leaves the hospital. He leaves his chosen profession and chooses a new profession of not ever being near any women. He, in fact, leaves the continent. He flies to a monastery very far away so that he never even has to see another woman another day in his life.
Wow.
Plot twist. I love it.
I would have never guessed that. I would have never guessed that.
I know. And because I think that the studio was like, oh, I don't know that people will understand this direction in the movie, so I think that may be too far-fetched. They said, let's just cut it off right at the end. We don't have to put a budget to record anymore. We are done. Everything's shut down. People have grown beards. People have changed their hair. Let's just shut it down right there.
Wow.
I hope this has been a moment of enlightenment and illustration for you.
I love it.
That's very interesting. I would have never guessed that for Sam, but that's a very interesting path that Sam is following. I did want to ask you, this is your second time working with Kate Beckinsale. You had worked with her previously, like years before this. What's it like? What was it like working with her?
Oh, I absolutely remember the first time that I worked with her, and I was definitely not in this movie. And I did remember that. I did remember that. It was like seeing an old friend that you have seen before, and now you're seeing again.
That was deep.
Wasn't it, though?
And what was it like working with Frances McDormand?
Oh, she is a delight. We sat in the pool and we chatted about how pruny we were getting. It was ever so much fun. I was like, Frances, look at my hands. They're like little prunes. And she said, oh, Christian, your hands are so pruny. Look at my hands. They're also so pruny. And we laughed and we giggled and then we laughed some more. And then we got very serious and we recorded our scenes. And then we were like, oh, we're still pruny. Oh my gosh, maybe we're a little dehydrated. I'm concerned.
I love how you're sinking down there too, Christian.
Well, what I am doing, I am giving you an immersive experience in which I am sinking as if I'm in the pool right now.
I figured.
Do you feel that?
Yeah.
I'm sinking into the pool.
You're acting.
I am acting. Yes, I am giving you an acting performance right at this very minute to keep us in the mood of the film of Laurel Canyon.
I also think it's really funny, Christian, that in this movie, this bit of trivia cracks me up where, okay, so like you have, you're Welsh, and then of course Kate Beckinsale is from the UK. So is Natasha McLeod is also, and then Alessandro Nivola is from the United States, and so everybody's using, except for Frances McDormand, they're correct accents. You know what I mean? Not their normal accents. I just think that's interesting. I don't know.
Well, and I want to just give you a word of caution right now. This is trade secret.
Okay.
So please do not go repeating this anywhere.
Okay.
But actors often will have what is called accent roulette. And during our recordings, during our, month-long photo shoots and video shoots and whatever they're called, we will often play accent roulette. And we will go around like this, doing different accents. And whoever does the best accent gets to live another day.
Oh my gosh.
And
that took a dark turn.
No. It is simply that we are very serious about our craft. This is why my hand is still up, because I'm telling you, stop. We're being serious right now. We were very serious about our craft, and we did accent roulette. Wow. And then we all went to crafty because we all got to live. Yay!
Oh, well, thank you, Christian. That was a very interesting journey you've taken us on today.
Oh, happy to do so.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Christian. As always, it's great to see you. And
likewise.
Yeah. So go enjoy some more marshmallows, I'm sure.
Oh, I shall. Thank you so much. And again, sorry to interrupt between the Erin and the Erin, but I needed to give you that bit of trivia about the actual final scene.
Okay. That was not what I was expecting, Ta-da! So it's interesting. Yeah.
All right, I'm off now.
Okay. Ta-ta.
Ta-ta. I didn't know that. Did you know that? That's news to me.
I would have never in a million years been like, oh, Sam's going to go off and join the priesthood.
You know what? Now that he says it, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Ultimate rebellion.
He gets to be his full immorality bro potential.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
I know your mind is blown just like mine is.
The accent roulette took a really dark turn. I was just like, oh, they're just playing accent roulette. No, someone dies.
I mean, as far as we know, none of them have lost. So I think they did okay.
Wow. Well, I think I want to say, and I meant to say this earlier, I'm learning so much about Carla over these recordings, because I learned on our Wednesday pop culture episode that Carla doesn't like Charlize Theron, and now I'm learning that she doesn't really care for Kate Beckinsale. These are new things to me that I, for some reason, thought the opposite. I don't know why, but they just are shockers to me. So,
I'm like an onion with very difficult to remove shell, like layers, like the onion that you like just kind of, you know what? I'm just going to chop it halfway through. But please don't do that, for I am a human and not an onion. Anyway, let's move on.
Wow. Well, my thoughts on the other characters, in particular those three, is, yeah, Alex is basically rebelling against her parents in the opposite way that Sam rebelled against her parents. So she's like, this is her rebellion against the uptight, rigid, conservative, environment that she grew up in, from what we can gather. And so she is rebelling against that because she's never been around people like this. And she's very attracted to it because it's something different, unique. She's still young. She's still getting her footing in the world. She's never really questioned anything, I don't think. She's kind of just gone with the flow. And she definitely shouldn't be with Sam. And I think she knows that deep down. And so she's finally kind of questioning things and trying to rebel a little bit. And this is her rebellious phase, in a way, is doing this. Because like she says to Sam, she doesn't care really about Ian or Jane. She's just attracted to what they represent. And she also is attracted to the fact that these people that are so far outside of her quote unquote normal world are attracted to her. I think that it really interests her, is the fact that these people, especially Ian, are interested in her and her opinion as well. Like the fact that Jane wants her opinion on the music. To her, she's like, why would you want my opinion? I'm nobody. And I think that really attracts her too. So I think she feels like empowered by them to not be like so polite, as she's told that she's too polite. So I think she's an interesting character. She's naive in a way, but she's also like not, I don't know. I really hope her and Sam don't end up getting married because they'll have a miserable marriage. Miserable.
Yeah.
But I think Kate Beckinsale does a really good job. This is kind of a different kind of character for her, I think. And she is so young. She looks like a little baby. She looks so damn young in this movie.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So, but I think she does really well. For Sarah, she's kind of just there. Like, there's not really much to her except for the fact that she's attracted to Sam for some reason. And I have to say, that whole thing makes zilch sense to me. I don't understand it because it's like they have the moment when he's first going into his residency and like he almost like causes a major car crash and all that stuff. And then they're sitting there at the light and they look at each other and they have that. And then I guess that's supposed to be like their first attraction at first sight kind of thing. But their relationship is like, she feels more like this dream projection of a dream woman for him. She doesn't feel real at all. Like there's nothing to her. I don't know her. The actress is fine. She was actually like someone that during the early 2000s and a little bit later on was like thought of as like she was going to be the next big thing, I think. And so this was like kind of like this character that she would play a lot of times was this character. And she just doesn't feel real to me. So she doesn't have much depth. Ian is the typical asshole musician guy. I do want to say on the music front, though, I'm not saying I don't like the music either, but I do think it's representative of a certain type of music from the early 2000s. I am not saying it's good. I'm just saying it fits with the time period. So,
I mean, it's the era that gave us Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah, exactly. It fits in with all of that stuff. So that's why I don't think it's necessarily good. It's just, it works with that era. I do want to say I like a lot of the other music, like the soundtrack and other music that's used in this is really good. But yeah, I agree. Their songs are not good, but I actually think it kind of fits that this character seems like he's like so rebellious and yet he's doing these like almost, they're not as bad, but almost like elevator music.
Yeah. It's like, so it's basically Gin Blossoms.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it's like this, like, music you'll forget about. Music to have on in the background. So, but I think, and also I want to say it's interesting that both Alessandro and Natasha were in this because both of them were supposed to be like these really breakout people. And they were both in a lot of indie films around this time. And neither one of them really like transcended from this kind of world. And I just think that's interesting. And I do think it's interesting with the accent thing that they decided to go this way instead of being like, let's have Christian Bale be the Ian character and then have Alessandro be the Sam character. That struck me more this time with thinking about the accent thing.
You know what? I hadn't even thought of it, but you make an absolutely good point. Like that would have made so much more sense.
Yeah, to have them like, yeah.
And then maybe we would have cared about Ian a bit.
Sorry, Alessandro, but wow.
I looked him up a little bit ago because I was like, who the hell is this bro? And I'm like, first of all, don't know him. Second of all, he looks like he aged so nicely.
He did age very nicely. I agree.
It's like, let's see you in more stuff now that I actually care what you look like. Not to be rude and superficial, but like, honestly.
And he's done a lot of stuff since he's been in a lot of stuff. He just was supposed to be like this breakout, like star, and I don't think he ever really became like a star, but he was supposed to be like one of those that kind of, I don't know.
He has a cool name and he looks nice now. So maybe now is his time to shine.
Yeah. I don't know. So you never saw Junebug?
No.
You've never seen Junebug? Have you ever seen Junebug, Erin A?
Junebug.
Yes. I know I've seen it, but I can't think of a single thing about it now. But it sounds so familiar, yes.
Mm-hmm. We would not have Amy Adams that we have now without Junebug.
Okay, yes.
That's the movie that launched her. She was nominated. She's so good. So good. I own that movie. I mean, I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't know how well it would hold up, but she is so good in that movie. You should watch that. Maybe we'll talk about it sometime because
and it's the list.
Yeah, she's in that one. Yeah.
Yay, 2032, here we come.
Yeah, that was her breakout role, was Junebug. Was Amy Adams' breakout role. Yeah. And Alessandro was in that movie is why I'm mentioning it. So.
Sure. So I've heard.
That's because I love it. I love independent cinema. I'm an indie geek, so that's why I've seen a lot of these movies because they're very like, they're the indie darlings of the moment. Was like Junebug was the big indie darling of that moment. And yeah.
I've heard of it, if that helps.
She has a monologue in there, Amy Adams, that's just like, I actually did it for I used to do it for auditions, but anyway, no, I think Ian is just kind of a bland, like he's there, and I really hope Jane doesn't stay with him longer than like the credits kind of thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna move on. And hopefully she doesn't give him her house. Right? Like the last boyfriend.
Oh yeah, I know. That's like, why are you giving your exes your house?
Yeah, like in 20 years you're gonna regret giving up any real estate.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, just a few years from this time, I mean, you would.
True. Oh my God, yes. In 5 years, you're gonna be so regretful.
Okay, well, we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we've already kind of talked about the romantic relationship. So I'm just going to be like, what if there's anything else you want to add about them or about anything else in this movie? So we'll be right back. For those listening, for those watching, we won't be right back because we're not going anywhere. So we're back. So Carla, I know we've already kind of discussed the romantic relationships because we've discussed the characters and that's kind of all wrapped up in there. But is there anything else you want to add about that or anything else you didn't get a chance to say?
Yeah, so I don't think Sam and Alex are going to last beyond their tenure at the canyon. I think truly that he's going to want to pursue something with Sarah, whom he sees more as an equal, and he won't do it in a way that he thinks is not the quote unquote right way. So I think he's going to break up with Alex regardless. Even if he doesn't move on with Sarah, I think he'll be done with Alex. I don't think that Jane and Ian will last. Simply because I think that Jane, for all her whatever, first of all, she doesn't really hang on to relationships. I think that she's not the kind of person to hang on to something that doesn't serve her necessarily. And I think that she is starting to see Ian beyond his words. I think she's starting to see that Ian is not anything more than a fun time guy. And then she's going to be like, okay, get out of my pool. Go put on some clothes.
Go put on some clothes.
Put on some jeans and get out of my house.
So you disagree with Christian. You don't think Sam became a priest.
I think Christian was on something because I don't see that happening. I think Christian was probably sitting here, thinking he's eating like mini marshmallows and they're actually like my blood pressure meds.
Whoa.
I think he's just like a little lightheaded and like not thinking clearly.
Wow.
Shouldn't have left them out, but that's on me.
Be careful, Christian. So Erin A.
I think all of the relationships in this movie, no. Just no. Everyone, no. None of these people should be together. Absolutely not.
I love that.
The answer is no to all of you. All of your 17 separate ways. Just stop. I think
their name is no. Their number is no.
Exactly. Just don't. I think, yes, Sam and Alex definitely should not be together. They should definitely break up like right now. Do not stay together just because it's the easy, convenient thing to do. They're clearly not compatible. But absolutely, Jane should break up with Ian because he just seems like, no, she can do better than this lame rock star guy that thinks so much of himself. And apparently nothing is ever his fault. No, I don't even think Sam and Sarah should be together. I think that's another thing of just, Sam thinking, let's just do what is right and what's going to be a good, proper relationship. And I don't think that would work out. None of these people should ever talk to each other again. Just don't.
What?
I don't like it. I don't like any of them. You know what? Actually, you know what would be fun? Jane and Alex could be fun together. Like, I feel like after everyone has simmered down, we've broken up, we've like figured our shit out. I feel like Jane and Alex could be like a nice like LA power couple, right? Like she's this fancy research doctor and like her Jane is going to be, this high-powered music producer executive thing. I feel like they could be interesting together. But everyone else, no. But that is like long down the road once everyone has like healed each other's wounds and we can all act like grown-ups. Otherwise, no, I don't like any of these relationships together.
So in like 15 years after a lot of therapy.
Right. Yeah. Once everyone really knows who they are, Alex is done with her like rebellious phase and we're all grown-ups now. We can have good relationships and make good choices.
I've got a real twist. What about Jane and Sarah?
Oh, there we go.
Oh my God. That's just pure chaos with pure chaos.
Yes.
And you know what? It actually might work because I'm pretty sure that it would end up being an open relationship. So I think that could work.
They could have some fun.
Yeah.
Look at us.
We've solved their problems.
Matchmaking. We fixed it, you guys.
I mean, I'm not going to add much at all. I do agree with everything that's been said. I don't think Sam should join the priesthood or anything, but I do. Christian. You said that because your name is Christian.
Oh.
He just wanted to like weave that in there somewhere, and then you caught him. He's going to be so mad.
I agree. No, nothing else really to add. Well, thank you both for enduring this movie that I like more than the rest of my panel does, which I knew was going to happen. But, we can cross it off now. Now we've talked about it. So now we are going to turn to 6 Degrees of Mr. Finn Whitrock. And as a reminder, since Finn and Christian have been in a movie together, The Big Short, I do not permit that to be used because all you could say is, well, duh, they were in a movie together. You can't do that. That's not permissible. So, Carla, did you play, and how? If you did, how'd you do it?
Well, because I absolutely remember to do this before, and I totally knew the actor's name like days ago. I went with Rick Gonzalez, who is, of course, the young patient whose name was Wyatt, which I also knew. So Rick Gonzalez was in Old School with Perry Reeves, whom I also have heard of before, who was in +1 with Finn Whitrock.
Oh, we haven't used +1 in a while. Very good. I don't think we have.
There you go.
Very nice. So, Erin A, did you and Zeus back there, did you come? You're part of the Finn crew, so you're kind of required to play no matter what. So
yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so I went with Alessandro Nivola. He was the very mature and handsome Alessandro was in The Brutalist with Felicity Jones. And Felicity Jones was in Rogue One with Diego Luna. And Diego Luna was in If Beale Street Could Talk with Finn.
Very good. I liked that one. Yes. Very, very good. I used Frances McDormand, who was in Fargo, of course, was Steve Buscemi, who was in the movie On the Road with Sam Riley, who was in one of the best music biopics ever, 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 Control, which is about Joy Division, the lead singer who died by suicide. So triggers for that. And also in that movie was Samantha Morton, who's absolutely fantastic in the movie. And Samantha Morton was also in Minority Report with my future hubby, Colin Farrell, who was in Winter's Tale with Finn.
I love that.
Well, thank you both for joining me on this episode of Christian fucking Bale Month. We're going to go ahead and close out, and I'll have my lovely panelists tell you where they can be found, and Carla can tell you where her podcast, Okay Real Quick, can be found. So take it away, Carla.
I will take it away, and I will run with it, and whatever, I'm just going to tell you. Okay, so you can find Okay Real Quick wherever you found this podcast. You can find our social media presence in social media presence places at Okay Real Quick Pod. And you can find me and my art and my musings at Carla Temis in select places. And also my website, which is less select and very available. That is carlatemis.com. That's CarlaTemis.com. I'm also very incredibly frequently on the Discord channel for It's a Fandom Thing Pod. So if you want to come and check it out and chat with us and look at my cats and stuff, including my very judgy one who was not impressed when I paused. I had the temerity to pause Laurel Canyon. He was very into it.
Oh.
I think you and the cat might have more in common as far as 2002 film.
When we cover 2002 in film, I will have your cat on.
He will sit here and just stare you down and be like, I don't see any food.
So, Erin A., did Zeus watch this with you?
He did, actually, yes. He does enjoy watching TV, mostly because he can cuddle next to me under the blanket. He has very little interest in the actual TV, just the cuddling part, which I can appreciate. I'm okay with it. If you want to see pictures and video of Zeus, the very loud dog, he is on Instagram and TikTok at Zeusel or I'm going to post pictures of him wearing his Christian Bale party hat in the It's a Pet Thing channel on our Discord right after we record this, because he's so cute and so grumpy wearing his party hat. He's not ready to party, but yeah, you can find pictures of Zeus. You can also find pictures of Zeus on my Instagram. I am at Geek and Sew. That's what I do. I geek and I sew things and take annoying pictures of the dogs.
Awesome. Thank you. And Fergie the dog also does actually like watching movies and TV shows, but this is not her thing at all, because there's no murder. There's no violence.
Not on screen that we can see.
Yeah. But she does. She loves watching horror movies. She loves watching Abbott Elementary, and she loves watching true crime. And you can follow her on TikTok at Schroeder and Fergs. That's SCHROEDERANDFERGS. It's long, but it's worth it. To find links to all our past episodes, including our past Christian Bale episodes, there's a whole page just for the Christian Bale episodes. And you can also find links to our social media, links to that Discord server that has been mentioned. Head on over to our website. It's a fandomthingpod.com. And while you're there, consider becoming a Patreon supporter today. For as little as $3 a month, you get ad-free content, you get episodes a day early, and you get bonus episodes, and occasionally you also win prizes. So head on over to the link in our show notes or click the Support Us tab on our website, which once again is it'safandomthingpod.com. And next week, it is the listener's choice. This is a movie I have never seen. I don't know. Have you seen Hostels, Carla?
I have not.
So this
I'm
will be
excited.
this will be a first time watch for both Carla and I. I don't know if it'll be a first time watch for Sarah, but this will be the first time Sarah has ever been on a Christian fucking Bale episode. And Sarah's on the next 2 weeks. So Sarah will be on our last 2 episodes. Just to let you know, we're rounding it out with the Patreon pick, which is Ford v Ferrari. So I don't know. Have you seen that one, Carla?
I haven't. I've seen posters for it. More than once.
I saw it a few years ago for the first time. But yeah, Hostels also is, just if you don't know who directed that, because this is the second movie they did together, but they've done a total of 3 together, Christian, that it was done by, and all of a sudden his name is escaping me, so I'm looking it up right now. But this was the second movie that they've done 3 together that Christian has done with Scott Cooper. And Scott Cooper, of course, in 2025 was the director of the Bruce Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere movie as well. But the first movie they did together, which we will talk about someday because I love it so much. It has Casey Affleck in it, but this was before we knew who Casey Affleck was. And it's called Out of the Furnace. And I'm spoiling how I feel about it. I don't know if Carla will like it. And then they also did The Pale Blue Eye together. So it's the same director for all of these. So I'm excited to finally watch this movie since I haven't watched it. So I'm excited too. Yeah, we shall see. I'm not wrapping this up very well. I'm sorry. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. That's a new word. Thanks for watching.
Expanding our vocabulary with It's a Fandom Thing
podcast. So until next time, remember it's a fandom thing. Black Lives Matter, stop Asian hate, and free Palestine.